Leslie. How can I direct your call?
Well, yes, hello there. I just wanted to see if I could speak to a manager regarding lifting a trespassing order. I believe Dan was the gentleman who had placed it. If he's available, that would be great. Or if we could just
Um,
speak to somebody else.
Dan is off today, but let me put you through to an assistant. Hold on 1 second.
Sure, thank you.
Hello, this is Andy.
Yes, hi, Andy. My brother and I were trespassed from your guys' property a while ago, and we feel as though the reasons behind it may be an issue on your guys' end. And so we were getting ready to go ahead and kind of do the litigation route under the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to kind of restore our privileges there. But we wanted to just simply ask you guys on your end first if there was any specific reasons as to why we were banned, if there were policy violations or if it was just a personal preference, no reason. And possibly, really, ultimately, we're just interested in having those privileges restored. If you guys were willing to kind of give us a second chance to explain the situation behind it.
Honestly, I don't know anything about it. I came transferred from another store, and I've been here for about 2.5 weeks, so I can take your information and talk with the store manager, and we can contact you back.
Sure, absolutely. My brother and I have unfortunately had this happen to us before, and so we've ended up making lots of YouTube playlists in order to have all the data and information contained in one place for you guys to go over. But real quick, if you wanted to just jot down some information.
Yeah.
Our names are William and David Montgomery. And we were, our phone numbers here are 970-825-4421 or 970-412-5463. And just a little bit of info if you wanted to write this down. We had essentially been framed for using your guys' lobby overnight when it was still open till midnight, or actually when it was open all night, I believe. But we leave every night at 11:30 or so when the last bus runs. And but basically, one of the managers had spoken to another manager, had claimed that we were there staying overnight. Sort of, I don't want to say this, but sort of framed as being, homeless people. And so this had essentially triggered a close down of this lobby from the hours of 8 to midnight. And so we were quite concerned about this. This has happened to other lobbies that we've noticed across the Front Range. And so immediately we basically started another investigation of ours, went around, asked all the managers why it closed, and basically received what I don't want to say we're expecting, but we weren't surprised when we saw that some managers were willing to say, no, absolutely no reason at all, or even thinking that it's been closed for a while. Some people would say it's just, closed for cleaning, while other ones would say flat out, yeah, we've had a whole bunch of homeless problems and it's just gotten out of control and things like that. And so, being open to the public, subjects you guys to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, things like that. And so ultimately doing this sort of what we call as a blanket policy of restricting access at night, because sort of like a few bad apples ruin it for the rest. Now you have to throw out the baby with the bathwater type of mentality is extremely illegal, because now basically through an act of discrimination against homeless people, now other people that may not be homeless, like students or late night family members, can't enjoy the same goods and services. And so it's sort of, a majority rules type thing that, only the people during the day get to enjoy all of the services that you guys offer. And so, we don't know if the lobby's still closed or not. We've ended up having to be moved on to other places. So we don't want to say this, but we've added this onto what we will be considering a human trafficking ring. There's a whole lot of places that have been banning a whole lot of people for really arbitrary reasons. And so essentially we had we captured it all, put it all up on YouTube, and we basically went around to everybody that we had just spoken to, just to simply inform them that they were all giving us inconsistent answers and that they were all basically supposed to talk to each other at that point and get their shit straight and possibly, lift the ban because of how incredibly discriminatory it was. The fact that especially some people would say nothing, other people would flat out say it was homelessness. And also too, we've, like I said, caught other King Supers as being inconsistent and consistent. So like you guys said that you don't even open it to the employees at night, but then we've totally gone to other King Supers like in Edgewater, and they totally have employees that are using it at night. And so basically all the logic is flawed, and we caught all of the angles, and we were essentially a whistleblower for the whole event. And one day when we were...
Well, we our hours of operation are from 5 a.m. to midnight.
Is your
the only people allowed in the store are employees because there are overnight people. They're stocking the shelves.
Sure. Is your lobby there the one that is commonly used by people from Starbucks, but obviously open to everybody? Is that lobby still closed at 8 p.m.?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty new to this store. I don't know if it's closed at 8.
Okay. Well, if it's opened back up again, that's a pretty big cause for concern, because it was closed primarily because of what we thought was us, and also probably some previous issues that, straw breaks the camel's back, things like that. And so what we were mostly concerned about was when we were making our last round, and we finally got to one of the Starbucks employees to inform him of our investigation. He was one of the main people that we were concerned about. He had immediately, without even talking to us, just kind of called the manager up. The manager showed up. It was Dan. And without Dan actually telling us to leave or telling us any sort of policy violations, you can listen to the audio yourself. He basically avoided having that type of conversation with us and had turned around and left immediately, and then called the police up. And so when the police showed up, we were just sitting there eating because no one actually told us to leave. But then the police went ahead and said, hey, Dan the manager said that he actually, I don't want to say this, but we've documented that he had lied to the police and said that we had been told to leave and that we refused to leave. And like I said, we have the audio to prove otherwise. We attempted to show the audio to them. They didn't really care. They basically detained us to issue us a private banning notice, which is also a very big no-no. If they're not doing an investigation for trespassing, you can't just hold some skateboarder if you're a security guard to take a picture of them for your own private banning database. And so that's what happened to us. But basically, we feel as though that this issue could still be rectified. We don't really want to go the litigation route. It's going to be really ugly, and you guys are probably going to lose miserably. And quite honestly, we're getting ready to get moved back into that area in town because of, I don't want to say this, but human trafficking from other towns that don't provide the kind of services we need. And so we would really essentially just want to have our privileges restored for that store and, make this whole situation go away. It doesn't have to be bigger than it has to be. But we have a YouTube playlist if you wanted to.
Dan, and I can email our head of security and see what they can do. Like I said, I don't really know the full story, but I'll talk to him. I'm not here until Saturday, so I'm going to email them, kind of let them know what's going on and see what they.
Sure, yeah, and rather than have to convey the whole thing to them, what we said, we made it, like I said, a YouTube playlist. It's very, very organized. We encourage anybody that wants to listen to it to do it consecutively in order, because that's how all the right information gets out. But it's all there, the whole thing. I mean, we caught every single angle of it, and plus, I think we feel as though people deserve to know this information too. But if you wanted to jot down the actual playlist name, we could just leave it up to you guys, and if you guys want to give us a call back, we much appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll see you in federal court. So that kind of crap.
Okay. And YouTube, what's the YouTube channel?
The playlist is King Supers closes lobby to the homeless, whistleblowers get framed and false arrested. Yeah, so we got framed for trespassing. We weren't too pleased about that. Because we don't refuse to leave places. But nevertheless, if you have trouble finding that, you can find it under the main YouTube channel of Guilty Until Proven Innocent. We've had quite a few scenarios that we've had to prove our innocence by recording everything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So,
All right. Well, I will pass this on, and we will get back in touch with you.
thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Take care.
No problem.
Bye.